This is God. You must have faith.
In an unprecedented revelation that has sent the scientific community into a tizzy, a group of unconventional researchers, often referred to as atheists, have unearthed a number of astonishing artifacts in Saudi Arabia. These discoveries challenge established narratives about ancient human history and raise serious questions about spirituality and the origins of civilization. As experts struggle to analyze the implications of this discovery, the debate heats up. Could these artifacts rewrite our understanding of the past?
This mountain right here, Mount Sinai, and found amazing things there and elsewhere, but the discoveries have not stopped.
Join us as we delve into the details of this shocking revelation and find out why scientists are so terrified by what has been revealed. Revelation in the desert Saudi Arabia, officially known as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is a nation in West Asia with a rich religious history, especially regarding Islam. When thinking of Saudi Arabia, Mecca and Medina, two of the holiest cities in Islam, likely come to mind. However, recent research has unveiled a surprising twist. There are compelling claims that Mount Sinai, a site traditionally associated with Christianity and Judaism, may actually be located in Saudi Arabia. Mount Sinai holds immense religious significance for the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It is a sacred site that attracts countless visitors from around the globe seeking spiritual connection or wishing to follow in the footsteps of Moses. According to biblical accounts, this is where Moses received the 10 Commandments from God, which are foundational to the moral and religious teachings of both Judaism and Christianity. The book of Exodus recounts how God summoned Moses to the mountain, where the 10 Commandments were inscribed on stone tablets. Mount Sinai, also known as Jebel Musa, meaning Mountain of Moses in Arabic, occupies a prominent place in various religious traditions. For Christians, this mountain represents more than just a physical location. It symbolizes spiritual aspiration. They view it as a precursor to the heavenly Mount Zion, the divine realm where God resides in glory with his people. In his Sermon on the Mount, Jesus encourages his followers to embody the deeper spiritual meaning of the law rather than merely following its literal text, inviting them to forge a connection with the divine. Biblical narratives further link Mount Sinai with the transfiguration of Jesus, a momentous occasion when Jesus revealed his divine nature alongside Moses and Elijah. This event highlights the mountain's significance in both Christian and Jewish traditions. For Jews, Mount Sinai is considered the holiest place on earth. It is believed to be the site of their unique encounter with God, a location where the spiritual and physical realms intersect. This belief is fundamental to Judaism, which emphasizes a close relationship with the divine. Additionally, the connection between the divine and everyday life in Jewish tradition links Mount Sinai to the story of Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son Isaac, underscoring the deep faith and commitment that Jews believe they hold towards God. This narrative reinforces their dedication to following the commandments and living in accordance with divine teachings. The book of Deuteronomy captures the essence of Moses' role as he reminds the Israelites of their sacred covenant with God and the importance of upholding his laws. For Jews, Mount Sinai transcends mere geography. It is a powerful symbol of their unique identity and their role as the chosen people of God. Traditionally, Mount Sinai is thought to be located in the Sinai Peninsula, a region rich in historical and spiritual significance. Beyond its importance in Judaism, Mount Sinai is also honored in the Quran, which acknowledges it as the site where God spoke to Moses and revealed the Torah. This pivotal event highlights the mountain's importance in Islam, marking it as a vital spiritual landmark. The commandments of the Torah delivered at this mountain are viewed as a comprehensive guide to ethical behavior, reflecting God's will for humanity. Mount Sinai symbolizes a profound intersection between the divine and human realms, representing the connection between God and His people and underscoring the importance of following His commands. Islamic traditions further celebrate Moses for his steadfast patience and dedication, portraying him as a prophet who faithfully communicated God's messages to Pharaoh and the Egyptian people. Mount Sinai also embodies God's compassion and forgiveness. Despite the Israelites' shortcomings, God chose to forgive them and provided Moses with a new set of laws, showcasing His mercy and commitment to guiding His people. For Christians, Mount Sinai symbolizes the journey of faith, the pursuit of holiness, and the desire to draw closer to God. Its role in the biblical narrative is regarded as a cornerstone in the spiritual journey of believers. Across these three major Abrahamic faiths, Mount Sinai holds immense religious and historical significance. However, its precise location remains a topic of debate among scholars and explorers, adding an air of mystery to its profound importance. The sacred mountain's true location. For centuries, it has been commonly believed that Mount Sinai is situated in Egypt, specifically in the southwestern corner of the country, near the border with Israel and the Sinai Peninsula. This legendary mountain, deeply sacred to Judaism, rises about 2,285 meters above sea level and is celebrated for its spiritual significance. Mount Sinai is not only revered for its religious importance, but also for the rich history it encompasses. One of the most notable religious sites on Mount Sinai is St. Catherine's Monastery, located at the foot of the mountain on the Sinai Peninsula. This monastery, one of the oldest continuously operating monasteries in the world, was built in 527 AD by Emperor Justinian I, following requests from Christian hermits who had settled in the area. These monks had been living in the harsh desert environment and sought a more secure and established place to worship. The historical significance of the monastery goes beyond its age. It is home to the world's oldest continuously functioning library, containing manuscripts and books that date back to the 4th century. Among these texts are some of the earliest Christian writings and ancient Greek manuscripts. This invaluable collection offers scholars and historians crucial insights into early Christian theology and ancient languages. Architecturally, the monastery is a stunning example of Byzantine design. Its walls and ceilings are adorned with intricate frescoes and mosaics, showcasing a rich array of religious icons. The architectural and artistic heritage of the monastery is a testament to the devotion and craftsmanship of early Christians. One of the most cherished parts of St. Catherine's Monastery is the Chapel of the Burning Bush, built at the traditional site where Moses is believed to have encountered the burning bush from which God spoke to him. For Christians worldwide, this monastery is a deeply meaningful pilgrimage destination. Throughout the centuries, this ancient monastery has undergone many transformations. During the Fatimid Caliphate, a chapel that once stood there was converted into a mosque, which was actively used by Muslims until the 13th century when the Mamluk Sultanate took over. Today, this mosque is rarely used and reserved for special occasions. While it fell into disrepair during the Ottoman Empire's rule, it was lovingly restored in the early 20th century. The precise location of Mount Sinai, which is closely associated with the monastery, remains a topic of debate. Despite numerous theories, no one has definitively identified the sacred mountain's location. Over the years, various sites across the Middle East have been suggested as the original Mount Sinai, as scholars comb through the Bible and other ancient texts for clues about its true position. Among these theories, one has sparked significant discussion. In 1873, British traveller, explorer and Bible scholar Charles Bake proposed a groundbreaking idea, that Mount Sinai might be a volcano. He detailed his theory in a pamphlet titled Mount Sinai, a volcano asterisk, pointing to biblical descriptions of the mountain erupting with smoke and fire, even in the absence of ash. Bake suggested that the mountain he was examining could be the same one Moses traveled from Midian in northwest Arabia back to Egypt. His investigation focused on the mountains at the head of the Gulf of Aqaba, particularly Jabal al-Nur, known as the Mountain of Light. This mountain is notable for its striking appearance and historical significance. Initially, Baker hypothesized that this mountain could be volcanic, a theory that intrigued many because of the prevailing belief that volcanic activity might have shaped ancient geographical descriptions. However, upon visiting the site, Baker discovered that Jabal al-Nur lacked the typical features of volcanic terrain, such as lava flows or volcanic rock formations. This revelation prompted him to retract his volcanic theory, a humbling moment that demonstrated his commitment to scientific accuracy. Despite recognizing his error regarding the mountain's volcanic nature, Baker continued to explore the site's significance. He suggested that the biblical accounts may have depicted the mountain during a storm, adding complexity to the search for Mount Sinai's true location. This notion aligns with the dramatic descriptions of Mount Sinai in religious texts, where thunder, lightning, and storms are integral to the narrative. Baker's work was part of a larger quest to identify the true location of Mount Sinai. While some researchers supported his ideas, many others proposed alternative sites for the sacred mountain, including locations in Egypt, Jordan, and Israel. The search for Mount Sinai has been an enduring endeavor, with numerous explorers and scholars suggesting different locations based on geological, historical, and scriptural evidence. Sadly, Baker's untimely death shortly after his visit to Jabal al-Nur meant he could not further investigate or validate his theories. However, his work sparked a wave of subsequent scholarship and exploration. Ancient scholars and controversial claims. Notable scholars such as Alois Musil and H. St. John Philby supported Baker's pioneering theory that Mount Sinai is in Saudi Arabia. Musil, an Austrian-Czech explorer and geographer, undertook numerous expeditions across the Arabian Peninsula during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. His extensive travels and observations laid a strong foundation for his theories. Philby, a British intelligence officer and a significant figure in Middle Eastern affairs during the 1920s and 1930s, authored influential works like Asterisk, The Heart of Arabia Asterisk, and Asterisk, Arabian Highlands Asterisk. His writings were based on his explorations and interactions with local tribes. Both Musil and Philby identified Jabal al-Manifa, located near Wadi al-Ra, as a possible location for Mount Sinai. In particular, Philby made a noteworthy visit to Jabal al-Nur in 1952, where he confirmed its potential identity as Mount Sinai. He observed a historic mosque on the summit, which he believed lent credibility to its identification. Philby argued that the geographical features of Jabal al-Manifa and its proximity to ancient trade routes made it a more compelling candidate than other proposed sites in Egypt and Jordan. Theories and research on the sacred mountain. In 1971, French scholar Jean Koenig introduced another intriguing theory, proposing that Hala al-Bada, a striking volcanic peak in Saudi Arabia, might be the true Mount Sinai. Koenig's research, detailed in his article Asterisk Sinaitic Itineraries in Arabian Asterisk, was informed by his extensive studies of geological formations and ancient texts. He argued that the unique geological features of Hala al-Bada and its alignment with ancient descriptions provided compelling evidence for its identification as Mount Sinai. Koenig's work built on the groundwork laid by Baker, Musil, and Philby, offering a more nuanced and comprehensive analysis of the mountain's location by incorporating new archaeological and geographical insights. Although his argument was persuasive, it did not put an end to the debate, as new theories continued to arise, each with its own supporters. Ron Wyatt's controversial theory. Among the various proposed ideas, American researcher Ron Wyatt's theory stands out for its controversy and widespread discussion. Wyatt also believed that Mount Sinai was in Saudi Arabia, but specifically identified Jabal al-Lawz, located in northwestern Saudi Arabia near the Jordanian border, just above the Gulf of Aqaba. Wyatt's claims were bolstered by his reported discoveries of other significant historical sites, such as Noah's Ark, Sodom and Gomorrah, the crossing of the Red Sea, and the Ark of the Covenant. He used these findings to support his theory about Mount Sinai's location. Wyatt argued based on Exodus 3. 1. Reasoning that most of these bones come from domesticated cattle, with additional remains from goats, gazelles, and small ruminants. Adjacent to the head of the mustatil is a cist, a type of burial chamber commonly found in Neolithic and Bronze Age sites across Europe and the Middle East. Upon examining the bones of the man buried in this cist, scientists determined he was likely in his 30s or early 40s at the time of his death, exhibiting signs of osteoarthritis, a common degenerative joint disease.